Bowers and Wilkins, we are a performance-oriented brand. We're driven by advanced technologies with the intentions to deliver those technologies into every category that we compete in. So we believe in true sound, whether that's a studio, a home, a car, or even on the go, i.e. the headphones. So those of you that don't know about Bowers, the history of it, I'll go into a little bit right now for you. Bowers is a British audio company founded in 1966 by a gentleman named John Bowers. John was actually born in 1922 in a little town called Worthing, England. Worthing is about 2 hours south of London, just to kind of give you an idea where it is. It's a seaside town, absolutely gorgeous there. That is actually where our current manufacturing facility is as well. So it still remains in the same town that John grew up in. So John himself, so growing up, John was very much into audio, absolutely loved the radio, listened to lots of classical music. It was this fascination with music in radio that saw him get drafted into the Royal Corps during World War II. While he was in the Royal Corps, they recognized his affinity for sound and how well he could hear, that they actually moved him to a section called MI6, Section 8. So when you hear MI6, you may think of a name, James Bond. Yeah, so MI6 is what James Bond was a part of, right? So one thing to note is that the gentleman that wrote all the James Bond novels is a gentleman named Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming was in the same section as John Bowers. So cool little tie-in there as well. I thought you guys would be interested in hearing that. So John's major role was to listen to secret radio transmissions from Europe, from occupied Europe, essentially. So he was in charge of deciphering like these messages going back and forth between countries. So real spy stuff going on there, which is pretty cool. It was here in the service where he actually met one of his best friends, Roy Wilkins, hence the Bowers and Wilkins. Everybody always asks, well, who's Wilkins? This is Wilkins. His name is Roy Wilkins. He was in the service with John. They became best friends. And then when the war was over, back in 1946, they actually started up a small radio business in downtown Worthing. There was a little radio shop. And John was always known for pushing the boundaries of engineering to try and achieve better sound. One of his clients was actually a woman named Kathleen Knight. Kathleen Knight brought in her radio, and John was known for tinkering with these radios and making them perform better. So he did such a good job that she actually bequested John a large sum of money with the stipulation that he had to use this money to open a loudspeaker company. So
hey, Eric.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt. Some folks are having a little bit of trouble hearing you. If you could just speak a little bit louder, that would be great.
Oh, sure. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So again, so Kathleen Knight was one of John's customers, and he essentially modified one of her radios. She was so impressed by it that she bequested a large sum of money to John with the stipulation that he had to open up his own loudspeaker company. And thus Bowers and Wilkins was born back in 1966. So John's philosophy to this day really stands behind one quote. And that quote is, the best loudspeaker in the world is not the one that gives you the most, but the one that loses the least. It's all about true sound. That's what John always believed in, getting you closer to the performance than you've ever heard before, right? So he believed in research and development, right? He was heavily vested in it. And in 1981, he actually opened up the SRE complex, which is the Stenning Research Establishment. This was monumental at the time. Nobody was doing stuff like this. To this day, it's actually still referred to as the University of Sound. This is where, the true sound, the ethos of the company, the desire that John set forth, to try and build a better loudspeaker is the same path that we hold true to this day. Can you hear me pretty good, Emily?
I can. So I'm sure that people will continue to give us feedback in the chat. So I know in this room and then your second room, they were a little on the softer side. So I think some projection will get us in good shape. Thanks.
Sounds good. All right. So sorry again about the microphone. Hopefully you can hear me. So one of the things I wanted to do was I didn't want to run you through a PowerPoint. I really wanted to basically transport you guys from where you are to our North Reading Experience Center. So North Reading is actually located about 15 minutes north of Boston. Here we have 9 demo rooms. We have Nautilus, 800 series CT. We have everything, all custom installation as well. So I wanted to kind of transport you guys here so you could be with me and we can kind of walk through some of the speakers in our current lineup. And then again, I'm going to show you some new stuff as well. Okay. So when it comes to our series of loudspeakers, whether it's headphones, wireless, in-wall, in-ceiling, in-room, we have a very, very consistent approach when it comes to design and technology. What you'll see in some of our in-room speakers, you'll actually see in our headphones, in our custom installation as well. So we try to have that consistency across the entire portfolio. That's very important to us. So what I want to talk about first is the 600 series loudspeaker. So this is new. This is the 600 anniversary edition. This is to celebrate 25 years of 600 series. We launched this last year towards the end of the summer. Absolutely phenomenal product. You can see the 3 SKUs here, 603, which is your large floor standing. Then we have the 606 and then the 607. So one of the cool things about these loudspeakers is the technology behind it. So we've trickled down a lot of the technology that's found in our 800 series down into the series below them, okay? So we have a decoupled double dome tweeter. Why decoupled? Well, decoupling basically prohibits the transference of energy from the cabinet to the driver itself. That creates coloration and distortion, right? So this is basically resting on a small little filament of rubber, and we call it an isopath. So it's basically completely decoupled from the rest of the structure. The result is an extremely high breakup frequency, which means extremely high resolution in detail, okay? Then we have our Continuum. You can always tell Continuum because it has the silver color, all right? This is our latest and greatest mid-range technology. I can't tell you what's in it because we have a patent for it, and it's a pretty special mix. Absolutely phenomenal performance, far exceeds that of aramid fiber, which is what we were using in the previous series as well. In the 600 series here, 603, you can actually see that we're using the FST mid-range. FST stands for Fixed Suspension Transducer, which basically means that it is not really moving much. It's just vibrating, right? There's no surround, as you can see. So it's basically sitting on a piece of foam on the magnet, on the chassis itself. And the result is extremely, again, it's all about resolution. It's all about detail. It's all about removing coloration and distortion, everything that we do. And then you have your 2 bass drivers here. This is the little smaller version bookshelf loudspeaker that you can see. That's the 606, absolutely phenomenal. Has a mid-bass Continuum driver, decoupled double dome. And then this is the 607. This is actually one of the new finishes that we're offering with the anniversary edition. This is the oak finish, which has the front white baffle, as you can see here. Also has a cool little engraving on the top of it that says 600 series anniversary. It's not just aesthetics, what we changed from the previous series to the anniversary series. We also enhanced the crossover design. So the topology of the crossover is completely different. Well, we've added some capacitors in certain areas, and it really, the performance has really gone up. So to kind of cap off the 600 series, we have an HTM6, which is a center channel. And then we also have a variety of subwoofers that complement the 600 series. Okay, so from 600 series, we go up to 700 series. 700 series, basically these 4 loudspeakers that you see here. We call this kind of our elegant performance range. All right, so you have with 2 SKUs, the 702, which is the floor standing, and the 705, which is the bookshelf, we have a solid body tweeter. All right, so this is made of solid aluminum. Now I want to show you this, okay? We take this, you can see it's a big chunk of aluminum, and then we make this out of that. All right, it's all one piece. There's no sections in this. And the result is extremely high performance and low resonances, right? That's what it's all about. So it's pretty cool. All right, so that's for the tweeter on top technology. The tweeters themselves have been upgraded. We're now using carbon dome And again, carbon is just a stronger, stiffer component, which allows us to extend that breakup frequency. So again, higher resolution, all that good stuff, less coloration and distortion, okay? With the 702 model, you also get another technology from our 800 series. You get the Aerofoil base driver. So what is Aerofoil? So Aerofoil is essentially, if you're looking at the cone, starting from the inside out, it's very thin where the cone actually meets up with the coil. Then it gets thicker as you get towards the middle, right? And the thickest point is right here in the middle. And then it starts to thin out as it gets towards the edge. The result is it's an extremely fast driver, but it's also pretty inert. So we noticed when we did all of our measurements that the weakest point of this of a base driver is essentially right here in the midsection. So by bracing that to its full extent in terms of thickness, the result again is just an extremely clear, precise, tight bass response. Okay, so that's the 702 that you can see here in the gloss black finish. Just speaking of finishes real quick, satin white for the 600, black. So it's like a kind of a matte black, and then obviously we have that oak that I was telling you about. So the 700 series is available in gloss black, rose nut that you see here on the 704. You can see that the tweeter is not on top. 704 has a tweeter that's internal here into the cabinet. 705, and then obviously we have the 706 in the satin white. Now, this loudspeaker here is pretty special. So this loudspeaker and a version of that in the big 702s, all right, so both tweeter on top speakers. We launched a signature version of this loudspeaker, I want to say, yeah, roughly about the same time as the 600 series, maybe a little bit before that. Absolutely spectacular. It's available in one finish. It's called the Decoupled finish. And I know it's going to be tough to really see it. And I'm going to try to move it around a little bit. Yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit, but it's absolutely gorgeous. They have a beautiful plate on the back here signifying that it's a signature series. We've done all types of acoustic upgrades internally. Absolutely spectacular speaker, sounds amazing, even looks even better. So that's our signature 705. And again, it's available in the floor standing version as well. Okay, then you have our 706, like I was telling you. So that's the 700 series. So we also offer center channels. We have two of them, a smaller version and a bigger version. Smaller would be coupled with the 704s and down. The larger version, which is the HTM 71 Series 2, would be used with the 703 and 702. And then we also have a subwoofer called the DB4S that is available in the similar finishes. And you can always even go up if you wanted into the 800 series level subwoofers if you just want a little bit even more performance. Okay. All right. So I hope we're doing good. I hope people can hear me. If you can't, I apologize. This is 600 series. That is 700 series. Let's talk about 800 series. Well, they're heavy, they're big, so I only brought one in for you. I apologize ahead of time. But this is the 803D3, okay? Gloss black, absolutely gorgeous speaker. What we have on top here, solid body aluminum tweeter, diamond dome technology, all right? This is diamond tweeter. Extremely stiff, inert, breakup frequencies well beyond 70 kilohertz, right? So that's pretty significant in terms of what you get in terms of clarity and performance. Then we also have our turbine head, right? Again, this piece right here weighs about 50 pounds. It's a solid piece of aluminum, very similar to what I showed you with the solid body tweeter. So pretty substantial, right? This speaker weighs about 200 pounds, just under 200 pounds. We're also using an FST Continuum mid-range driver that's connected internally. And then we have what we call our reverse wrap technology. So one of the things that we found when we did testing on loudspeakers just in general is that when you have a curvature to the cabinet, that makes the cabinet stiffer, more inert. But whereas in terms of loudspeakers, most of the energy is coming from the bass drivers, right? So it's important that they're as quiet as they can possibly be. So when we developed the cabinet itself, we made it curved so that it was extremely stiff and performed better. And then you can see how it kind of rolls off into the back. Now on the back side of the speaker is where all the guts are. That's where all of the crossovers are located. I actually have the spine, we call it a spine. That's this piece right here. You can see the terminals And then we also have on the back side, this is what's internal as the crossover network. That's pretty substantial. So low frequency on my left, all the way up to the high frequencies on the right-hand side. So this thing weighs probably about 25 pounds. It's a solid piece of aluminum, again, just like the turbine and the solid tweeter body. And we're using a number of components from a company called Mundorf. Mundorf is a German capacitor company. They make these specifically for us. So just absolutely spectacular performance that you get from this loudspeaker. All right, so we talked about cabinet real quick. I want to show you something pretty cool. So you see the curvature of that cabinet? Well, this is what's on the inside. So I told you that, this thing weighs a lot, sorry. So I told you that it's all about making sure that where the bass drivers are connected, it's the stiffest. So what we did is we actually, on the front side, and I think you guys can see that. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Oh, pick it up. On the front side, we actually, instead of using a wooden front baffle, we actually used a solid piece of aluminum. So you can see how this attaches to the matrix bracing that's internal. And then those pods that you can see on the front fascia of the speaker actually attach to these structures. So again, super rigid, because we're moving a lot of air, right? These speakers get down into the 30s, the big 800s get down into the 20s easily in terms of frequency response. So awesome, awesome design. It just goes to show you like how much we look at in terms of research and development, right? It's all about eliminating coloration and distortion. Okay, so one more thing I want to show you real quick.
Eric, when you're done with your next little piece, if you can pause between, I have a couple questions in the chat box we'll get to after you present the next item.
Okay, yeah, I just want to show you, thank you very much. This is a very, very cool little demonstration that we do when you're in-house for trainings. So I hope you can, again, you guys can't hear that good, but I'll do my best to see if you can actually hear the difference. So again, we talked about solid tweeter, right? Solid body tweeter. So that's this. So this is what's found on the 700 series and the 800 series. This is a zinc magnesium housing. This is what was found on the previous versions of the 800 series. So what I'm going to do, real simple, is I'm actually going to hit this. I'm going to put it close to my microphone. Hopefully it doesn't blow you guys out of the water, but I'm just going to hit it. I want you to listen to how it rings, okay? You can actually hear it ringing, hopefully. Now what I'm going to do is take the solid body and do the same thing. You should basically hear nothing. Now, I'm not sure if that's translating or not, but that's pretty cool, right? So that right there tells you what? That tells you that when the driver is moving in this tweeter assembly, right, you have ringing sensation, right? So that ringing ultimately, you know, it interferes with everything else that's going on within the tweeter, thus creating coloration and distortion. With this, you do not get that, okay? And we did the same thing with the mid-range. So again, this is the previous mid-range basket. As you can see, the stems that we have here. So pretty loud. This is the new mid-range basket. Lighter, more ridges, made of solid aluminum. Right? Much quieter. And we did the same thing on the turbine head as well. The previous head had Marlon. Now we moved to solid aluminum. And again, that's how you get the 800 series. All right, questions?
All right, thanks, Eric. Just one comment from Erica. She said she absolutely loves her 703 S2. The sound truly fills the room, so great to hear that. Nice. I also wanted to share a question from Phil. He said, how long does B&W usually keep repair parts like woofers for your home audio speakers?
Awesome, awesome question. So we, in fact, 30 feet from me right now is where our spares are located for the US. And I still have grommets for Matrix 801 Series F. So it depends on the model. Obviously, I still have mid-ranges for old Matrix 801s. Typically with 800 series level products, I try to hang on to them for, I think legally you got to do it 7 to 10 years after the last manufacturing point. We tend to, I stock up on the spare parts. So depending on the part, we could have drivers, tweeters, upwards to 20 years.
Wow, that's a good record retention rate if I've ever heard of one. We had a question from Strat. He said, is there no 704 or 707?
There is. I just couldn't fit it up here. Sorry. Yeah. So 702, then in between. No, this is the 704. Sorry. So 702. There is a 703, which basically kind of looks like this here. Obviously, it has different components in it. Then the 704. All right. 705. 706, and then there's a smaller 707 that's almost like this footprint that you see right here. Sorry, I just couldn't fit everything onto this. I'm pushing the limit already.
Stack them all on top of each other. No, but thank you for clarifying that. Just a couple more things. Phil, who had asked about the woofer parts, he said, I still have our Matrix 801s from the 1980s. So, I mean, some of the stuff that Bowers builds is just such legacy items that you can keep adding and tweaking the pieces of your setup that aren't as emotionally or performance tied, like you're not as invested in. But some of these key pieces, you want to get the life out of them, right?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And then the last is just a comment from Keith. He said, some of the absolute best listening I ever got to enjoy was going an hour early into the showroom where I worked and listening to my demo CDs on the Matrix 801s with the Velodyne ULD 18-inch sub through Macintosh separates. Old reference, but mind-blowingly great.
Look at Matrix. Look at the Matrix series. Some shout outs today. That's
lots
awesome.
of Matrix love here today.
I love
it.
And
And so with that, we are all caught up. Eric, if you want to move on to your next session, thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Those are awesome questions. Okay, so this is our in-room kind of breadth of product. Again, we also offer some wireless technology as well called Formation that you can look into as well. But what I want to show you really right now is, I want to focus on one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing kind of markets in audio right now, which is the custom installation. So more and more people these days don't want to see anything. They want invisible, they want in wall, in ceiling, to be very discreet, right? So what I want to show you is how we have taken the approach, the same consistent approach in terms of design and technology on our in-room speakers, right? And then applied that to the custom side of things, okay? So first thing I'll start off, I'm actually gonna start from the top down. This is an 803 D3 that I just told you all about. That in the wall right behind it is a CWM 8.3D, right? That is essentially this in the wall, right? It really is. Same tweeter, same mid-range, even though it's a different color. Same driver topology. All right. So I just want you to know that is essentially, if you listen to this and you're like, I really don't want that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's what you get. All right. So the back box for that, right? It's all pre-construction. I mean, basically anything is retrofittable, as depending on how much you really want to rip out of the wall. But the back box for that is taller than me. Right. And the reason for that, and actually I'll show it to you in a few minutes. But the reason for that is it's all about controlling the outcome. Right? No matter what type of substrate you put it in, drywall, brick, wood, cement, I mean, we know exactly what's going to come out of that loudspeaker. So I just wanted to kind of focus in on that a little bit. That's our flagship in wall. We also offer a smaller version of that in the ceiling. And then we have another smaller in wall as well called the CWM 8.5D. So definitely check them out. Absolutely spectacular. The CWM 8.5D, which is a two-way bookshelf, extends down to 30 hertz. It's basically a bookshelf in the wall. So again, the cabinet is much larger than an 805, so that's why it extends a little bit lower, but absolutely superior performance for an in-wall, great for bedrooms, offices, or even theater. I've designed a lot of theaters using those as well. Okay, so, all right, hopefully the volume's okay. We're gonna transition into another room and have a little bit of fun with the custom side. Okay. All right.
Eric, I will say real quick, somebody said, Matrix, that's the newfangled stuff. I still run a pair of 802 Model F in a sealed cabinet.
Yes, Model Fs. We still get the grommets for those. If you need grow grommets, call me up. All right, so can you guys hear me good?
Yes. Sorry, it took me a second to find my mute button. Couldn't hear me.
I just want to make sure how loud I need to scream.
Yeah, just keep projecting the way you have been. And I'm going to, as a reminder to everyone, we're recording the call. I'll be able to push it out with enhanced audio after the fact so that you can revisit these things.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so this is our CI wall, where we basically showcase our CI 300 series, 600 series, 700 series, and then obviously we show some pre-construction materials on the other side there. We show back boxes, PMK, rough-in kits, all that good stuff. I just kind of want to focus on the main wall that you see here. You know, starting from the top, we're going to go down. This is our CWM 7.3 S2. This basically marries up and goes with the same technology that you saw on the 700 series in-room. Okay, so carbon dome, Continuum FST, Aerofoil base drivers. So pretty cool. So if you're doing a theater system or just a media room and you really love the look of the 700 series, and let's say, you know, you just don't have space to put the 700 series in this particular space, this would be your solution. So you could go with the in-wall version of the 702 or the in-ceiling version, right? It's tough to kind of see right here. In fact, I think I may have one. Yes, I do. Oh, so this is an in-ceiling loudspeaker, right? Very substantial. It's traditional swing out dog ears. I'm going to take the box out and show you just how beefy this is. So you can see dual bass drivers. We have a Nautilus taper tube tweeter that you can see here. Then we have our Continuum FST that's in that as well. And then a pretty substantial crossover, okay? So absolutely spectacular speaker. You can see that it's mounted at angles. So they're mounted at about 45-degree angles to allow the sound to project out into the room. So what that does, it allows the sound stage to drop significantly. So if you had to do all in-ceiling loudspeakers, you could still get a decent front sound stage so that the vocals and all the dialogue is coming basically from where your screen, where your TV is located. So the cool thing about the CI 700 series is that every one of them, actually the majority of them, come with the back box in frame already integrated in it. So they're completely retrofittable. All you have to do is cut the hole, this goes up, and then you install the loudspeaker. Now, one of the cool things I'm just going to show you real quick, I hope you can really notice it, is one of the approaches that we took with custom over the last X amount of years was really, you know, how do we make it easier for people to install, right? Integrators or consumers or whatever. So a gentleman in the UK, one of our engineers, his name is Russ, right? I don't know his last name, but his name's Russ. And he invented this. We call it the Russ nut. So essentially, this is a screw that inserts into a receptacle and requires no tools to install. So all you do is once you get the hole cut out and you get the back box installed, you put the speaker up here. I'm going to take the screw and you literally insert into it and then push, and it's locked in. So you can imagine being up on a 12-foot ladder trying to install something that weighs, you know, 20-something pounds. You know, you don't want to be walking up there with a screwdriver or a power drill. So very, very cool technology that we've integrated into this particular loudspeaker. We also did it with the CI 800 series as well. So that's your CWM 7.3. That has its own back box. Again, completely retrofittable. This speaker can also be turned horizontal, and then the mid-range pod can move to accommodate so that you can get that nice landscape kind of portfolio. All right, so it's ported as well. This loudspeaker, again, goes down into the 30s in terms of frequency response, so it's pretty robust. You can probably barely see this little piece right here. This is what we call a reservoir box. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like and what it's used for and how do you install it right now on this loudspeaker. This is the CWM 7.5. All right, it's a small little two-way, right? Carbon. All right, we have Aerofoil drive unit here. I'm going to take this out just so you can see it. So, you know, pretty substantial little two-way. But the cool thing is the way that it mounts. So this is your back box, okay, that comes with it in the box. And then we also include this, which is your reservoir box. All right, so this is all about increasing the cubic volume of the loudspeaker. What happens when you increase the cubic volume? You essentially get more bass output and better overall bass extension. Okay, now you don't have to use this, but we always recommend. Now, the cool thing is it can mount to the bottom of the speaker, or it can mount to the top of the speaker. You can kind of see a blanking plate there. So depending on if you have a firewall, if you have plumbing, you can always reverse this and actually go in from above. So I'm going to show you how it's on kind of a hinge here. All right, so that's to allow you to get it into the wall. Hello?
If I can figure.
Oh. So that's to allow you to get it into the space. And then once it's locked in, you can then tighten it down with some wing nuts. Again, everything that you need is included in the box. So as you can see, it angles down, slide it in, put that in, okay? Swing out dog ears to tighten it up. And then the electrical connection for the loudspeaker is actually on the crossover network here. And it's basically a Molex connector. So again, no tools required at this point. The speaker just sits in, drop it, and you use your thumb to secure it. That speaker's done. So pretty cool. So that's 700 series, CI7. We have two ceiling models, 3 in-wall models. The one that's not shown here is the cinema version. So it's a little bit more slender and not as tall as that, but looks great, flanking a nice flat panel on the sides and underneath as well, and phenomenal performance. All right, so now to our bread and butter, which is our 600 series, our CI 600 series. We're still using aramid fiber cones, aluminum dome tweeter. And one of the cool things about this loudspeaker, though, is how it installs. So you just saw it's very similar to how the CWM 7.5 installs, but the frame itself is actually different. So on the in walls and on the in ceilings, all right, we use something called a quick dog connection. All right, so what's a quick dog connection? So quick dog connection is basically these little red pieces that you can see here. All right, what happens is once you get the speaker, let's see here. Once you have the speaker installed, you reach up in and you use these and you pull them down to secure to the drywall. So it's very, very quick. In order to release, you simply just hit this silver lever and that lifts up and then you turn it and then you can remove it. Now I'm going to show you how to install it right now, okay? So this loudspeaker, you know, traditional in-wall speakers, you know, can take, I don't know, a few minutes to install. I can actually uninstall this speaker and install it in less than 40 seconds, all right? So I'm going to show you that real quick here. So there it is installed, okay? Take that out. All right, frame is out, okay? Wired in, turn, pull, turn, pull. Take the baffle assembly, that's all secure now, not going anywhere. Use your thumb, voila, done. So pretty cool, right? So kind of an ingenious design on what we did with this loudspeaker. Same holds true for the in ceiling as well. Again, so if you're up on that ladder, you don't have to worry about any tools. You just use your thumb. That's all you use in your hand. So really cool. Then now we're going down to our CI 300 series. This is kind of your, you know, more commercial distributed audio. I mean, you can use this for distributed audio too. We highly recommend it. But these are, you know, just to give you an idea, these are around the $250 mark in terms of cost. So still use the same swing out dog ears, your traditional dog ears. We do make Marine versions called the Marine 6 and a Marine 8. These are IP66 rated, I believe. They're designed to go onto yachts, believe it or not. So they can not only withstand the elements, but they can also withstand pressure washing, because that's big on super yachts, especially. So let me see here. One other thing, subwoofers. Let's talk about subwoofers before I show you some of the new stuff. We have 2 subwoofers. We have what's called the ISW4, which is dual 8-inch bass drivers designed to go into standard drywall. This also requires a back box, which I don't have here, but it's pretty substantial. So this is a pre-construction unit that you want to use it for. This is driven by a separate amplifier that's 2U and is rack mountable. So typically what you see is the amplifier is mounted in the rack, and then all you have to do is run speaker wire to the location of the sub and you have your connection. Okay, so that's the ISW4. Now, this is the cool one. This is the ISW3. It looks weird, right? So this subwoofer basically features dual 6.5-inch bass drivers located internally, okay? And it is designed to go in custom cabinetry. It's designed to go into the ceiling, into the wall, obviously a pretty substantial wall, or into the floor. We have lots of dealers that walk around with this here. This is your standard 2x12 grill, right? It's paintable, that we include this, but you can use any aftermarket grill that you want. Essentially, that is all that you see, okay? So I'm gonna lift that back up. That is all that you're gonna see is this grill, all right, when you install it. So this is very, very big. We see this being used a lot in kitchens and kitchen cabinetry. Everything is all decoupled internally. So virtually all resonances are all basically dissipated within the box. So you don't have to worry about your silverware or your china or anything like that vibrating. So it's a very, very cool unit. And again, this is driven by an amplifier called the SA250, the same as the ISW4, and that's typically mounted in the rack room. Okay, so let's talk about some new products. I want to start off first with our plaster up to frame kits. So it's essentially like a PMK, which is like a pre-mount kit, but this is completely retrofittable. And what it allows you to do is basically have a zero edge. So you'll have essentially a flush mount loudspeaker, which is very big aesthetics these days. So I just kind of want to show you right now. So we have square version, and then we have the circular version. Okay. So when you purchase this in the box, you get this, and then a retaining ring that you can see right here. So very simple design. All you got to do, okay, now it works with existing speakers as well, but if you're just installing it now, all you do is find out where you want the loudspeaker to go, okay? You trace along the inner ring here, you remove, you can imagine a circle there, cut out that, remove the ring, put that back up, screw it into the drywall, and then plaster up to the edge. There's a small little lip there, probably about 2 mil, not that significant, okay? Once you plaster up to it, you then insert the speaker, all right, which mounts in, and then the grill goes over like so. And then what you have, if you can imagine it, is plaster that butts up right to the edge of that grill. So it's basically flush mount. So it's a pretty cool little option here that we just came out with. This is going to be shipping, I believe, soon, very soon, like within the next few weeks. So that comes in circular and also comes in the square version as well. Okay, last thing I'll touch on the CI side is this bad boy. So this is Bowers Wilkins distributed audio amplifier or multi-zone amplifier. You can actually use it for basically anything. It's called the CDA 16. So 1U height, standard width rack, width to fit into your rack. And then on the back side here, you have 8 zones, 16 channels. All right, so 8 zones, 16 channels. Each channel, 100 watts. So pretty robust. These are your speaker inputs here. Obviously, these are all the other inputs. You have different banks here if you want to bridge them. If you bridge them, it goes up to 200 watts. You also have the ability to adjust some trim pots here. And there is a clipping LED that's located on the backside here. So if you want to set specific levels in a specific room, you don't actually have to go into the room or have somebody go into the room. You can do it all from the backside of the amplifier. What's really special about this is what you don't see, which is the internal guts. So this is a brand new Class D topology in terms of amplifier design. Our engineers have actually worked on the layout of all the circuitry to make sure that, you know, things that move, like fans that has 2 of them, are not located near anything that's very sensitive, right? So the result is extremely high performance in a very small package. It's just a very robust amplifier. You know, we're super excited about it. This is going to be shipping within the next few weeks as well. I think it has a price tag of about $2,000 retail cost. Okay, so I think that's it on my end. Emily, you still there?
I'm still with you. I haven't abandoned you.
So, you
Yeah, I
want me to
was
move
going to
into the
say,
other room?
there was just a couple of comments talking about how the back boxes are a great idea. Joe was saying that he used to build wooden back boxes into walls when he installed in walls in both of his bathrooms, and it just makes a big difference. And he is glad to see Bowers addressing the issue that drywall does not make an ideal cabinet.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
We did have someone asking about pricing of the different categories, and so I linked the Bowers website and said MSRP is up there, but they can connect with us to find out, as the year goes on, when there's specials, anything like that.
Sure.
And then I think that I did have a question that was submitted ahead of time. And so from Phil, he said, what would be the ideal type of amplifier? So solid state, vacuum tube, ZOTL as some examples, driving the 800 D3 series floor standing speakers.
Let's see. So, I mean, you have a number of different options. So it's a great question. I think most people that are in this industry, consumers as well, I mean, customers as well, they know certain brands, manufacturers, different types of amplifiers, they all sound a little bit different. So it really is subjective. I personally, I've done a number of systems with Macintosh, Class A, just to name a few. I just recently did a custom theater, which is basically 800 series level custom products that we were using the new Macintosh, I think it's the MC901, which is tube on the top end, solid state on the bottom end. Absolutely phenomenal performance. The theater absolutely sounded incredible, not only just for movies, it was very dynamic, but also music was just so nice and so clean and clear. So really, it's kind of whatever flavor you're into, honestly. I know guys that have both, they have 800 series, and depending on what they're listening to, vinyl or not, or something digital, they switch from tube to solid state. So it's a great question, but unfortunately, the best answer is to go to Paulson's and listen for yourself. That's the best answer.
We love that answer. We're happy to oblige. We also had Mohammed, he shot me a question. He was asking for kind of an introduction or overview to some of the satellite speakers that you have.
Satellite speakers. So satellite speakers would be probably the smaller bookshelves that I was just showing you.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, either that or maybe even the M1. He might be talking about the M1. Could he be a little bit more specific, and we'll get back to that?
Yep, he said yes, M1.
The M1?
Yes, please.
Okay. I don't have one right here. Okay, so the M1, it's called an M1 MK2. So it's roughly this tall. It's an awesome speaker. My brother actually has a 5.1 system with these, and every time I go over there, I absolutely go berserk. It's fantastic. So it's a small stature, features I think it's a 3.5-inch bass mid, and then an aluminum dome tweeter. They're gorgeous. They're very contemporary looking. They can be mounted. It comes with a wall bracket. Okay, so you can mount them on the wall. It also comes with just kind of a little stand, so you can put it like on a bookshelf as well. You can also purchase a floor stand for it if that's what you want to do. But they're absolutely phenomenal. The interesting little side note that you won't hear from probably anybody else is when we were designing that loudspeaker, I was actually at Stenning in the UK, and we did an A/B comparison between the older M1s and the new M1 MK2. And the difference in terms of just low frequency extension was absolutely incredible on the new M1 MK2. You just did not expect that much performance, that much bottom end from such a small loudspeaker. And the reason for that is they actually tuned it that way. On the crossover, they actually made it so that you had more emphasis, sub 100 hertz, So it was really cool how like they recognized, I won't say complaints from the previous version, but basically they were like, oh, well, some people said they could have used them a little bit more bass, and they actually kind of applied that to the new series. So absolutely phenomenal unit, especially if you're just looking to kind of get into the Bowers and Wilkins, brand portfolio. The $500, I think, I think I have it listed right here. Maybe I don't. Yes, $500 for the pair. Yeah, so $500 for the pair, so it gets you into Bowers and Wilkins. Very easy to drive, very efficient. So just an absolutely spectacular speaker.
Great. Thank you, Eric. Phil also commented the challenge with the 801s is its efficiency is in low 80s, so it requires substantial.
With the older 801s.
Okay,
yes.
good to clarify.
Yes. Yeah, the newer, and I'm going to walk off camera and actually go.
Okay.
So everybody be careful of your
microphones. I just wanted to show you this little tidbit. Can everybody hear me?
Turn that volume down, friends. Yes, we can hear you substantially now. So if everyone can turn down their volume probably a little bit now, and this is going to be the perfect place for you to do Q&A.
Yeah, I'll whisper now, okay?
Absolutely. So was there anything else that you wanted to touch on, Eric, or do you just want to take some questions?
Well, I mean, so as you can see what we have here, these are the Nautilus. It's the icon of Bowers and Wilkins. A cool little thing about this, and actually I'm going to bring this over and show you guys. Hang on one second. You guys all see this? Does everybody on the call remember these little Sony televisions? Right? Yeah. So these loudspeakers came out when this came out back in 1993, right? Not a single thing has changed on this loudspeaker since. All right. The only thing that's changed, honestly, is the production of it's now done in the UK in our own factory. The bodies themselves used to be made by a company called F1 Prep. We now have all the machines and all the cabinet making machines to actually build everything in-house now. They retail for $60,000. They are true four-way design, so they require 8 channels of amplification per pair. Just absolutely breathtaking. If you ever get the chance to listen to them, they really are the definition of transparency. They just disappear into the space. You don't hear anything coming from the loudspeaker. It just comes from all around you. So these particular units that you see here were painted in Maserati gray to celebrate our partnership with Maserati a number of years ago. Some of the most popular colors are Ferrari red that we'll do for you. Again, no upcharge for custom colors, but a lot of automotive finishes that we've done over the years as well. So yeah, we'll take some questions.
Awesome. Erica said, maybe one day. There's a whole lot of dreaming happening on these sessions we're finding. It's pretty cool. We're all in this together, building wish lists. Maybe that's something we should roll out for Paulson's, put a wish list area on our website and everyone can build that and we'll just work towards it.
Love it.
So Eric, if you wouldn't mind, I have a question for you. I know that you have been with kind of the Bowers family for a long time, and now Bowers is a part of Sound United. Could you touch on what that means for the brand and for our consumers at this point?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So back, let's call it probably 4 or 5 months ago, we were acquired by Sound United. Those of you that are not familiar with Sound United is a large corporation that has multiple brands underneath them, like Marantz, Den, Class A, Polk Audio, Definitive Technology, and a few others, Ethos as well. So they acquired us, which is awesome, by the way. It's just, they're an amazing company. Again, I've only really been working with the people of Sound United since January 1st of this year, but so far just absolutely spectacular individuals that work there. I know you guys spoke with Phil Jones on Monday. He's awesome, learning so much from him. What this does. Nothing has changed on the Bowers side. So let's put that out there first and foremost. So a lot of people are like, oh, big corporation, just bought the relatively small audio brand. What's going to happen? Nothing. If anything, they're going to invest more money into what we do and make it easier for us to achieve that true sound that I was telling you about, right? So first and foremost, we still have all the same engineers on staff. Most of the same people still work for the company. It's just, it's actually been a blessing, to have such an amazing company behind us now that can invest. So it's just, all the cameras that you see me on today, not the microphone, but all the cameras that you see me on are, all thanks to Sound United. I'm very much looking forward to supporting all the brands that they offer. But Bowers and Wilkins, will always be my baby.
Awesome. And I love a Mariah Carey reference whenever we can sneak it in. So much appreciation for that.
I didn't even pick up on that.
That's okay. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? I'm not seeing anything coming into the chat box, but I'll give it another minute. I'm checking to make sure we had a Google form so people could submit questions. I don't think there's anything additional in there. Hopefully they're not writing questions while they're supposed to be watching and paying attention. There will be a test. No. Phil asks if Bowers is still made in England.
Yes.
Where do you produce?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a combination. So we have all 800 series, all CT series, and all CI 8 series. And Nautilus are all manufactured still in Worthing, England, the original manufacturing facility. 700 series and 600 series and some of the other products are manufactured in a Bowers and Wilkins factory in Zhuhai, China. So anything 600 series, 700 series formation related is being exported from China. One thing to note is that we do have a lot of our engineers that are still working at the Zhuhai factory as well.
Great. Well, it's really cool when you have a company that can have things built by the best people in the best areas and bring all of those things together and create something really unique. So absolutely. Yeah. So I'm not seeing, let's see if anybody else has any more questions, please feel free to put them in there. Eric. Oh, Mark Levine, do they go to 11?
11 and a half, actually.
There you go. We're working on getting that baker's dozen level out of it.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, Eric, is there anything else you'd like to share or add before we kind of do our wrap up?
I'm just trying to think here. What else? We have CDA 16. We have the pre-mount kits. We do have some new headphones that are coming out. They're true wireless in-ear headphones called the PI5 and PI7, active noise canceling. Some pretty cool tech that we have on these headphones. The PI7 in particular, the case that charges the AirPods can actually be transmitter. It's a Bluetooth transmitter. So if you're on a plane, you can connect the case to the in-flight entertainment, and then it will actually transmit via Bluetooth to the pods. So there's some really good. There's other really cool tech that's also on them as well. But we're very proud of it, and you'll be seeing those in the next month or so. But other than that, I think that's it. I think I covered pretty much everything.
Well, we appreciate the sneak peek there. And we've got Erica just said, sweet, I will be getting those. So
nice.
I'm glad that you took a second to comment on that. I'm going to let Chris Paulson say hello and goodbye.
Hey, just want to thank everybody for the time coming out. Another, great session about a great product. Eric, thank you for the time and presenting to us, and love all the multiple rooms and everything you set up. That was, not only informative, but getting to see everything live like that was awesome. So thank you everybody for this event, or this session, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Real quick, just a couple of housekeeping things. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Remember, attending each session that you attend gives you an entry into our giveaway. Our giveaway does include some fabulous prizes this year, one of which came from Bowers and Wilkins. So from Bowers, thank you so much for generously donating to us a custom vinyl collector's box. This is valued at over $130, and it was actually curated by the Bowers engineering team for demo on the 700 series. So a really cool set if you're into vinyl. It has the Allman Brothers Band, Ryan Adams, Lord, Gregory Porter, and John Coltrane. Hopefully the Coltrane one stays in the set and I don't snag it out before the winter picks it up. But we also have a Sonos Move, which is indoor, outdoor, portable, smart, all-weather, Bluetooth, everything but the kitchen sink speaker. That's a $400 MSRP. And then we also have the Sonance Patio Series with amp outdoor audio system. That is a $2,000 value. So every session you attend gets you closer to bringing one of those fabulous prizes home. And again, check your email for reminders and links to join these meetings. I'm putting them on Facebook. I'm putting them anywhere where it'll stick. So if you're having trouble finding the links, you can always reach out to me as well. And lastly, please, if you are a registered attendee and you're in our area, you can come in and pick up your amenity box. So this box is our thank you for being a part of Music Matters. It has all kinds of goodies from Paulson's and from our brand partners. So And special discounts. So there are some discounts for our registered attendees that extend into the middle of March, and that's only for you guys, none of our regular clients. So thank you again so much, everyone, for being here. And we will see you on the next session, which is today at 3 p.m. I believe, if memory serves me, as I've been living in this schedule for a week here. But we will be hearing from Sonance this afternoon, focusing on invisible speakers and some of their outdoor audio solutions. So Eric, thank you again so much. We appreciate you, and it's been a pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.